Hello everyone, my name is Eric Jones, better known as the Turf Teacher. Welcome to the lecture entitled Sprayer Economics 101. This is sprayer, spreader calibrations, and pesticide labels. This is a review for you guys, but first I want to give credit to Dr. Casey Reynolds, who wrote the PowerPoint. I actually took this class in one of the classes he offered for continuing education on my pesticide license. And I wanted to share this with you guys because this is really good information. This should tie all the stuff that we have already talked about within Unit 1 and Unit 2, because we've been doing some pesticide calculations. We've talked about calibrating sprayers and spreaders. We've talked about reading the label. Now we're kind of bringing in the dollar amount of these products to those math problems, and this really helps you understand, because when you put a dollar volume on it, you're going to understand, whoa, I do need to calibrate my equipment. I do need to read the label, because I'm either wasting money or I'm saving money, and we all want to save money, and we want to do the right thing, because doing the right thing is always the right thing, and we are stewards of the land. And so when we look at this from a pocketbook or a wallet standpoint, you guys are going to understand it. So again, thanks to Dr. Casey Reynolds for putting this together. He was with NC State when I actually took this Con Ed course with him, but he is now at Texas A&M University. So let's get started. Topics included in this discussion: the importance of sprayer-spreader calibration with regard to cost control. We do want to reduce our cost. We want to be in business next year. We don't want to go out of business because we're applying more product than we should. We're going to interpret pesticide labels, and then we're going to learn how to calculate the rates and cost of liquid and granular formulations for spraying, granular applications of fertilizer and pesticides, and then a combination of products of fertilizer and pre-emergence, what we're putting out in the springtime for our crabgrass control. And so this really talks about a lot of the things that we do as a lawn care technician in the springtime. So it really helps put everything in perspective, guys, in this PowerPoint. And we're going to look at the cost analysis of a turf grass management program, and that will help you save money too, because you're going to be able to calculate exactly how much product and how much cost of the product you will have for an entire year. Why is sprayer spreader calibration important? Well, plant health, guys, for one. We need to achieve that recommended amount or application rate to meet the plant's needs. We don't want to give them too much. We definitely don't want to give them too less. We want to give them the right amount so we can control our weeds, insects, and diseases. We want to avoid injury of turf grass species. Turf grasses can really be damaged, and we're going to see an example here in a minute of Bermuda zoysia grass. Maintain environmental responsibility. You've heard me say we are stewards of the land time and time again, but then control cost. Make sure that we are increasing our profits each year, because part of being sustainable, guys, is staying in business and making money. So an example problem, and we're going to work this problem out. How much would an application of Barricade 65 water dispersible granulars cost for an 8,000 square foot lawn if the labeled rate is 1 pound active ingredient per acre, and Barricade 65 WDG is $39.95 per pound? Now, granted, some of these prices may have changed. They may have gone up. They may have come down. More likely they've gone up, but we're using this for an example. How much would an application of granular combination product cost for the same lawn at the same rate? So we'll look at that as well. What information do we need to answer these types of questions? We need the product formulation, whether it's a water dispersible granular, flowable liquid, or a granule. Recommended application rate, we're going to find that from the label again, but we also need to know the acreage or square footage of the area receiving the application. And then how much does the product cost you? Is it per pound? Is it per ounce? What does it cost you? What tools do we need to make an accurate application? Well, we need pen, calculator, pencil. Write this stuff down, do your measurements, know how many square feet's in an acre, the 43,560, and you need to be able to use a tape measure or measuring wheel and divide your lawns into areas to get the exact square footage. We need our properly calibrated sprayers and spreaders. You know how to do that. We've seen videos on that, and we've seen PowerPoints on that so far in this course. And then access to pesticide labels. And guys, you can get that from the Turffiles and NC State, cdms.net, and greenbook.net. And you could more than likely do a Google search for the pesticide that you're applying and find an easily downloadable label and MSDS sheet for that product. First and foremost, proper label interpretation and sprayer calibration is important. For what reason? To avoid injury to desired turf grasses and non-target plants and organisms. Look here. We just talked about that zoysia grass. I told you we're going to see it. This is Roundup injury on the zoysia grass. Did they spray it too early? Yes. Yep. Ground temperatures warmed up. Boom. They hit it trying to get rid of some broadleaf weeds early on in the spring and zapped it. Why, guys? Well, not reading a label. What happened here? Well, it looks like some improperly calibrated equipment. So how do we avoid these types of situations? Label interpretation and sprayer calibration. The main two reasons, guys, and we have reinforced that in this course. Read the label. Label is the law, and you need to be able to calibrate your equipment. Take the time to do it. Yes, you're going to have to do some homework. Read the labels of the products you're applying. Do them, read the night before, highlight them. You got printed out. You need to keep that 3-ring binder in your truck. Keep a notebook in the office of the same stuff. Read up on it before you apply it. What types of information can we extract from these pesticide labels? The formulations, the active ingredient, the PPE we need to wear, the proper storage and handling, and then the precautions and recommendations, timing, rates, spray volumes, mixing, etc. That timing's a big thing too. Hey, you may not want to put it out too early in the year, or you may not want to put it out later in the year when its temperatures are warming up. All that information we find in our labels. Why is it important to know the product formulation? Hey, the preference of the applicator. Guys, I'd rather put out granular applications all day long. Yes, people say it might take a little bit longer, but I love pushing a fertilizer spreader. I'm going to get the backpack sprayer off for broadleaf weeds, or I'll pull the hose off the truck if I have to, but I'd much rather put out my fertilize and my pre-emergent with a push spreader. If the formulation, it's going to be calibrated different, our equipment's going to be calibrated different, and the calculation of rates. So one product, you're going to have to calibrate it for. Every time you change products, whether it's the fertilizer spreader or it's your sprayers, you're going to have to calibrate your equipment. And then what is the cost analysis or the breakdown? How much money are you making on this yard? How much are you making per year with all your yards based on how much product you're purchasing? Several common formulations of pre-emergents that we put out in the spring, guys. Pendulum, 60 WDG, Barricade 4 FL, Dimension emulsifiable concentrate, and then Barricade 65W water dispersible granular. Well, I've put out every single one of these. I have seen them, I have touched them, I have calibrated equipment for them, I have put out every single one of these. And what do these mean? Well, let's break it down. Again, guys, this is a review. You've got your common name, which is Pendulum. Concentration at 60, and then WG. Water dispersible granules can be wrote WG or WDG, but that is your formulation. The formulations represent the active ingredient in the product as well as whether it is a liquid or a solid. And so we have here are some examples of liquid and dry. Liquid being a liquid, flowable, emulsifiable concentrate, sprayable, soluble liquid. They're dry formulations, or your water dispersible granule. Wettable powder, water soluble powder, pellet, and then granule and granule. Calculating rates of dry formulations. When using dry formulations, the number on the label refers to the percent active ingredient by weight. Example, the Barricade 65 water dispersible granule is 65% by weight prodiamine active ingredient. Therefore, 100 pounds of Barricade 65 water dispersible granule contains 65 pounds of prodiamine. 1 pound of Barricade 65 water dispersible granule contains 0.65 pounds of prodiamine. Calculating rates of liquid formulations. When using liquid formulations, the number on the label refers to pounds of active ingredient per gallon of product. Example, Barricade 4FL has 4 pounds of prodiamine active ingredient per 1 gallon of product. Therefore, if you have a 2.5 gallon jug of Barricade 4FL, you have 10 pounds of prodiamine. You have 4 pounds active ingredient divided by 1 gallon times 2.5 gallons gives you the 10. A little bit of algebra there, right? So how do we incorporate this information into sprayer spreader cost analysis? Through dimensional analysis. Sorry about that. A little tongue tie. You start with what you have and you're going to get what you want. I kind of like that philosophy in life, don't you? So here's that random example. Very similar to how we're going to figure that first pesticide problem you saw on slide number 2, I believe. How much would 5 truckloads of drinks, whether it's Pepsi, Coke, Sprite, whatever, cost when delivered to a convenience store if there's 1,000 20-ounce drinks per truck and they cost a nickel a piece, or a nickel per ounce? My fault. We begin with the units you have, proceed to the unit you want by canceling out through the multiplication. So we have 5 truckloads. There's 1,000 drinks per truckload. There's 20-ounce drinks within that 1,000, and then they cost a nickel an ounce. So guys, we're going to cross out. The truckloads cancel out, the drinks cancel out, and the ounces cancel out. And when you multiply 5 times 1,000, it gives you 5,000 times 20 times 0.05 is your answer here, because you're dividing by 1. So we work that out in the next thing. Now I've worked each one of these problems out with the calculator before I'm actually recording this lecture. So the math is right. 5 truckloads, so 5 times 1,000 times 20 times 5 cents equals $5,000. And look, they are canceling out the truckloads, the drinks, and the ounces, and the units disappear when divided by similar units, leaving only the unit of interest left at the end. And our interest was that dollar sign. We wanted to find how much it cost. So a good example of that. So how much would the application of the Barricade 65 water dispersible granule cost for an 8,000 square foot lawn if the label rate is 1 pound active ingredient per acre? And Barricade 65 WDG cost us $39.95. This is our problem, and we're going to work it out. We're going to start with what we have to get what we want. We have an 8,000 square foot lawn, and we want the cost. So how much is it going to cost to do that 8,000 square foot lawn? And we're going to do it through a little bit of crossing out math or dimensional analysis. We have the 8,000 square foot lawn. We have the 1 acre, which is 43,560 square feet. So look, we can automatically cross out the square feet. We have 1 pound active ingredient per acre. The acres cancel out. 1 pound of Barricade contains 0.65 pounds active ingredient. So pounds per active ingredient cancel out. And then we have $39.95 per the pound of Barricade. Well, the actual bag. Well, this is going to cancel out, guys. And when you multiply this all the way across and multiply this all the way across, divide it, I've done the math, this works out. So it's going to cost us $11.28. Therefore, the 8,000 square foot lawn total product cost for this application of Barricade would be $11.28. Now, that's not counting your labor. That's just your product cost. So you'd have to figure out what your labor rate is and everything else like that, and your overhead and stuff. Guys, we're just figuring product cost. But to do the 8,000 square foot lawn, $11.28. If tank mixed with a 3-way combination product for broadleaf weed control, how much would broadleaf weed control add to the cost? Now, all right, so they're putting out their Barricade, and they're going to take care of some broadleaf applications. Well, we're using Trimet Classic. It costs $29.50 a gallon. So we're going to take our 8,000 square foot lawn. We got 1.25 ounces of Trimet per 1,000 square feet from the label. There's 128 ounces in a gallon, and the gallon costs us $29.50. So we cross out the square footage, we cross out the ounces, we cross out the gallons, and that gives you $2.30, and that is the correct math for it. So we're going to take that $2.30, add it to the $11.28, whatever, and that would give us our total product cost to do the 8,000 square foot lawn. So how much would a spring fertilization cost for the same lawn if using 28,512 at 1 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet? The fertilizer cost is $12.50 per 50-pound bag. And we can see that 50-pound covers the 14,000 square feet. We got our NPK analysis by weight: 28% nitrogen, 5% phosphorus, 12% potassium. So thus 25 pounds of nitrogen, 5 pounds of phosphorus, and 12 pounds of potassium per 100 pounds of fertilizer. So the 28,512 at 1 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. We have our 8,000 square foot lawn, 1 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet, 1 pound of fertilizer gives us the 0.28 pounds of nitrogen. It is $12.50 per bag, a 50-pound bag. Cross out the square footage, cross out your nitrogen, cross out the pounds, and to multiply this all out, it's going to cost $7.14 to apply this product to the 8,000 square foot lawn. So good math, guys. You're seeing what this stuff is going to cost you now. Combination products. Fertilizer is often combined with pre-emergent herbicides for the ease of application. When this is done, how does this affect the calculation rates and cost? Well, if applying 1906, very familiar with this product, guys. It's a granular fertilizer with 0.38% barricade. What is the rate of fertilizer in pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet, and barricade in pounds per active ingredient per acre if using the labeled product rate of 265 pounds per acre? Let's look at it. Well, what we have, let's start with the fertilizer rate in this example, because we have 265 pounds of fertilizer per acre. We know that there's 0.19 pounds of nitrogen in 1 pound of fertilizer. We know that an acre is 43,560 square feet, and we're multiplying it by our 1,000. Well, we would multiply 1,000 to get the pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. So 1.15 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. That's how we got our fertilizer rate. Now, the chemical rate. 265 pounds fertilizer per acre. We have 0.003.8 pounds of active ingredient per 1 pound of fertilizer. So we have 1.007 pounds active ingredient per acre. Combining these calculations with other resources allow you to calculate more specific desired rates for each application. So an example, do we use 0.75 versus 1 pound's active ingredient per acre of barricade? Gives you that comparison for it. These types of calculations also allow you to assess where your money is going and which applications are more or less expensive than others. Product costs relative to each other can be expressed in 1,000 per square foot or acre base. I love the 1,000 square foot acre blocks, guys. 1,000 square feet or acres, ounces per acre or pounds per 1,000 square feet, pounds active ingredient or pounds nutrient, and then dollar per pound or dollar per gallon. So our area rate analysis cost. By plugging in the appropriate information for each component, you can easily and quickly calculate product cost for comparison. Now, here is a chart, guys, of some products that we would typically be using as lawn care technicians. Well, let's look at 18-24-12. That's, we put that out in the fall when we're doing our plugging and seeding. $13.50 for 50-pound bag. I know that's definitely going up quite a bit, but for the example, we'll use that. So the cost per 1,000 square feet is $1.50, or we can do it an acre for $65.34. Well, guys, having this information right here, and this will change year to year because the prices are going to go up, right? But you know how to calculate the math and get that using the problems that we've just looked at here previously. There's the barricades, $38.95 per pound. Pounds of nitrogen, cost per 1,000 square feet, $1.37, or we can do an acre for $59.68. And look, everything that we could possibly use. Speed zone, good for broadleaf herbicide. 55.19 a gallon, pounds per nitrogen per square feet, 1,000 square feet, 125. Cost per 1,000 square feet, 53 cents. Cost an acre, 23.09. So yeah, a lot more expensive than the Trimec, but here, even that fungicide that we've seen in the last lecture, the Heritage fungicide, $400 a pound. Pounds of active ingredient per acre, 0.4. So that's going to give us 1,000 square feet, cost of $4.56, and then cost per acre $198 to do that. So still kind of expensive there. You know, that was that little bitty bottle of fungicide that we saw. They advertised it 4 ounces was 125. And so, yeah, it's a little bit cheaper to buy it in the larger quantities, but if you buy that 4 ounce bottle, yeah, you're going to pay a little bit more if you're looking at that cost right there. All right, now we're looking at a granular program. Look, this is the visits that we would do in a typical year. 16-4-8 barricade in February, then we're going to go back with a 30-60-10 in late spring, probably in April. And then we'll do our 18-24-12 in the fall, and then a 3-6-10 in November to December, and winter fertilize. We're coming up with our total cost for the year, cost per 1,000 square feet, and then the cost per acre for the year, guys. And I like how they broke it down, total fall cost, you know, because a lot of times you may only be plugging and seeding for a customer, but the total yearly cost per acre for all this, $406. Total fall cost, $274. This is how you're going to estimate your job sites. You're going to go and know, hey, well, we've got a client that's got 9,000 square feet. Well, when we're doing the 16-4-8 in February, if we got a 9,000 square foot lawn, we're going to have $18 worth of product. Then you come up with your labor rate, guys, and you know exactly what this is going to cost you. And if everybody renews with you the next year, you know how much product you're going to apply the following year. You've got a total number of lots or houses that you're applying fertilizer to. You know the exact amount of square footage, so you know how many pounds of product you're going to purchase for the year. That's when you can start going to your dealers, or when they have a pre-order early sale, you can save a little bit of money and order this stuff up front. Now, here's a liquid program. You got an extra treatment in there, but you know, they're actually doing an 18-24-12 there in the fall. Everything else is a little bit different than the dry formulations, but you look at it, you look at the total fall cost, $266, total yearly cost, $580.54. You know, costing a little bit more. But let's look at our 8,000 square foot lawn, doing it granular or doing a liquid application. 8,000 square foot, we got $934 per thousand, so $74.72 total product cost per year for an all granular program. And we're going to do $60 per visit times 4 visits is $240. The profit margin is $240 minus our product cost. So they're charging the $60 per visit. So they're $165.28 for the average 8,000 square foot lawn. Guys, that's pretty good. You can go in a neighborhood and target these houses. Hey, you know, $60 a visit. Let's say you get 100 houses in one neighborhood. You can calculate your profit per year of that neighborhood very, very easily. Doing it with the spray program, 8,000 square foot lawn, it's $13.34 per 1,000 square feet. Gives you a $106.72 total product cost per year for an all liquid program. You're doing 60 per visit. You got the extra visit though, 5 visits, that's 300, but your profit margin is 300 minus the 106 and of your product. So you're actually making more money doing the liquid program, but it's one more visit that you're having to make. And so you're only making $28 more. So you got to start looking at that, the travel time, actually going back an extra visit. So that's on you guys when it comes to that. But I like granular, and you know that. Cost analysis of each program. In this sample, the liquid program is $28 more profitable per year. However, it requires an extra visit. Things to consider: liquid visits may be quicker, allowing more visits per day. Depends on the technician. Customer preference towards more or less visits, image versus cost, and then the applicator preference, and then others. To point all of this, math is not to recommend liquid versus granular. In reality, a combination of both is often desirable. The point is simply to make the time to do the math in order to see where your costs are going. This type of cost control in the office makes application more profitable without any additional labor in the field. Guys, you know your numbers. In addition to comparisons between products, calculations are also important to control cost within products. Most plant care products recommend ranges of application rates. Now, that's where you can spend more money than you have to. Remember the heritage. You know, it's saying an application rate of 0.2 to 0.4 ounces per 1,000 square feet for brown patch. Well, guys, remember, we've already been told to use the lower application rate, and we'd want to use it if this is a pre-emergent fungicide application. We're definitely going to go 0.2. But if it's there, if the brown patch is already existing in the lawn, you may want to go the 0.4. But again, this is where you want to talk to your dealers. You want to talk to the ag agent. You want to see what they're saying. This might not sound like much, but approximately $400 per pound, it translates to a significant different cost. Again, let's take the previous example of our 8,000 square foot lawn. So we're comparing it if we're using the 0.2 ounces per 1,000 square feet or the 0.4 ounces per 1,000 square feet for heritage fungicide. Here it is for the 2 ounces, 8,000 square foot lawn, 1,000 square foot, boom, 40 bucks. At a higher rate of 0.4 ounces, this doubles to 80 in product cost for the lawn. As one can imagine, it doesn't make many misapplications of this product to quickly begin losing money. Well, you're doing a pre-emergent treatment of fungicide, you're putting out 0.2, you're going to charge a little less. But if your customer already has the brown patch, you're going to have to go with the higher rate. You're going to cost more. What if your technician gets that mixed up? What if they calibrated for 0.4 ounces per 1,000 square feet and they only needed to use 2? You've just lost an extra big chunk of change there for doing a post-treatment versus a pre-emergence treatment. So how do you determine what is the appropriate rate when product labels have ranges? Again, North Carolina Pest Control Recommendation Manual, Turffiles at NC State. They've got a great app you can download on your phone as well. But previous experience and record keeping. If you document this and use that record keeping form and you keep track of everything, you can start to be the expert on this, and definitely the experts for your customers' yards. You'll know this, but again, talk to your dealers, talk to the ag agents when you see them. All this is completely dependent upon having a properly calibrated sprayer and spreader. Otherwise, calculations performed in the office will not translate into savings in the field. Your estimators and your purchasing people, they need to understand what goes on in the field. And they need to know how to calibrate the equipment themselves. They need to know how to put the product out before they can ever truly understand how much all this works behind the scenes in the office. You need to be in the field before you can be in the office. The 5940 method, gallons per acre and gallons per minute equations. We saw this in the last lecture. GPA is gallons per acre, GPM is gallons per minute, miles per hour, and then nozzle spacing in inches. A review. The 1/128th method, calibrating a backpack sprayer. Here's our standards. 1/128th of an acre is 340 square feet, ounces sprayed to cover it, so 8 feet by 4.25, 18 by 4, 18 by 4 is the 340 square feet. Spraying area, 340 square feet with your backpack sprayer, and use the stopwatch to record the time. Spray with your backpack sprayer into a bucket or measuring container for the length of time needed to cover the 340 square feet. The number of ounces collected equals the gallons per acre spray coverage using your backpack sprayer. Example, time to spray was 15 seconds. 15 seconds collected 13 ounces water. So 30 ounces equals 30 gallons per acre spray rate. We have 43,560 in the acre divided by the 30 gallons gives us 1,452 square feet per gallon. 4 gallons of backpack would cover 5,805 square feet. Good way to do it, guys. This is the easiest way to calibrate those backpack sprayers, and you need to do it every day. Every day. You're supposed to do it every time you use the machine, but if you do it every day before you head out, you're good. Spreader calibration. Granular products often provide starting points for calibration based on spreader manufacturer. However, it's always important to perform your own calibrations using more accurate methods such as the catch, pan method, or the sweep and weigh method, which we learned that here recently. Conclusion. Spreader sprayer math is very important in achieving adequate control when using fertilizers and other plant health products. As illustrated, it is also extremely important in controlling cost and making profitable applications. It is important to use all the tools at your disposal to properly calculate materials and calibrate equipment. Guys, steward of the land, do the right thing. These include the Turffiles at NC State, useful labeling websites, cdms.net, North Carolina Pest Control Recommendation Guide, and others being your ag agents and your dealers. A lot of information from your dealers, guys. They're there to help you too. And this will conclude it. Thanks again to Dr. Casey Reynolds, and I'll see you guys in the next lecture.